Hey, welcome back to the channel. My name is David. On this episode, I'm going to show you how to install the Haloview side marker lights and cameras to be installed on the RV, of course on the side markers, to work in conjunction with the rear camera along with the monitor display. So stay tuned and let's get started on doing this install. So just opening up the box, you can see we have, well, first of all, it is well packaged. And we have the two cameras. It's kind of windy out here today. We have the two cameras and the light fixtures all on one piece, like so. And they are clearly marked R for right, and the other one has an L for left. And there's the camera and the wiring, and of course your lighting. So the installation is the same on both sides. We do have to get our multimeter out to check the polarity, the negative and the positive on the existing lights, so we make sure we get these correct. So I just want to show you this along with the antenna. So we'll install all this and I'll show you all the details along the way. Okay, so you will probably want to get you some silicone, because we're going to be removing all the silicone off of the surrounding existing fixtures. I'm going to be using this scraper to clean off the old silicone. A multimeter, we're going to test our voltages here in a moment. Some wire cutters, some crimpers, flathead screwdriver, Phillips, some needle nose pliers, some wire cutters, and a power drill just to speed things up. But since you're screwing into fiberglass, you do not want to over tighten. So we'll use that just to tap the screws in place and then to tighten it by hand with this. All right, so let's hook up the rig to the truck and let's test our voltages. That came off almost too easy. So. Oh, that makes it nice. We can probably just reuse these once we know which one's ground and which one's hot. Well, that makes it cool, makes it easy. Well, thank you, Grand Design, for that. Okay, so we have the truck, we have the RV plugged into the rig, and we're going to use our multimeter. And if you're not familiar with these, what we're checking for is 12 volts DC. So you just set your multimeter to the correct voltage. Won't go into the how-tos, use a multimeter. If you're not sure, ask a friend or look it up on this thing called YouTube. All right, let's see if I can do this one-handed. Actually, I think what I'll do is just unclip this. And now what we're looking for is this to say plus 12 and not minus 12. So we're going to assume green is ground. All right, so you can see that the assumption that green was ground is incorrect. So green is actually hot and white is ground. So you're seeing my plus 11 something voltage coming from the truck. All right, let's get this wired up. All right, so let's clean this up. We're gonna try a little bit of rubbing alcohol, see if that'll take that off. If not, I got some goof off, which Tina says I've got plenty of that. And well, it's coming clean, but it's not coming off. All All right, this is back to rubbing alcohol. I don't know there's a difference. I would probably use something the least impactful, which is probably going to be the rubbing alcohol. So I think we're good there. All right. Oh, don't want to lose our wiring. Get back out here. Okay. And if you're not really sure which one goes to which, just look at the way the camera would be pointing. So this one here is the right. So the right side of the camper if you're standing from behind. So right is going to be passenger side if you're sitting in a vehicle. So that's going to go like that. Let's pop this off. And then we'll wire these up accordingly. And there is a nice foam pad here. So this will be pressed up against the RV, and then we'll put a nice bead of silicone around this to keep it all nice and dry. All right, so what I did off camera was I stripped these little wires back just a little bit to make them a little bit more the same length of exposed wiring, so I can twist them together better to get a better bite on these connector blocks here. I'm not really sure what those things are called, but man, those things have been very useful for other things, like a failure with the on-off switch for the front landing gear. All right, so green was hot. All right, tuck this away, back in there. There is that, and it is lined up with pretty much the old location. And let's just make sure we're mostly level here. And it looks like we are. Well, this is the first time I've screwed anything into the outside of the rig. So we're just gonna snug that up for the moment. All right. And now for the manual. Oh yeah. Okay. All right. There's that. Screw on the antennae. Now to the other side. You know, when we brought the rig home this spring, I noticed this had cracked. So I don't know how long it's been cracked. I do inspect my RV several times throughout the year. So I don't know, maybe it just cracked. But what timing, perfect timing to replace these things. It's dry, so that's good. Nothing in there. Doesn't look like it was any water in there. Oh, boo. They should have used those clamps on both sides. Well, boo on that. Oh well. There we go. Definitely more wiring. So, all right. We'll double check these voltages to be sure, because man, wow, we've got white with the green stripe and 3 whites. So we're going to assume this is hot and this is not. All right, just a second. This time, what I'm going to do is just cut this and strip those wires back and test it that way. Should make things a little bit easier to do. And yes, I do have the power off right now. All right, we don't want those touching. So we are going to assume that white is hot. And no, I'm sorry, I meant to say green was hot. White is not. So let's reverse that. And that's exactly correct. So the green wire is your hot wire. I think what I might do is leave these stripped off and just connect to those. All right, this is where the crimpers and the crimpettes come into play. All right, so green is hot and white is not. So let's get those two. Okay. And gonna have to go with the smaller gauge, it looks like. And I had to just get the cutters and use the very ends of this to get a good crimp on that. Give it a slight tug test. Okay, that is good. You want to make sure you push those on firmly. A lot of times you can see the wiring come through the end here. That's what I'm looking for. Make sure that's fully seated in there the best it can be. And I think we're there. The Haloview product has been awesome. I use it all the time. Well, not all the time, but when we're driving, of course. It becomes my rear view mirror when we're driving. And I have it on the rear of the rig, of course, and I have it angled in such a way that I just clear the carrier that we keep in the back, and it still gives me enough view to see cars approaching from behind, so I know if somebody's getting too close to me, especially going down the highway. So, all right, let's go that way, and let's pop these back in there. And I think before I tuck it all in, let's do one more power test. Let's get this lined up. And they are. Okay, nothing's pinched and we're level. All right. One more power check. Looks good. Ain't that pretty? Antenna time. All right. These here are adjustable. You can turn these in and out. We'll see where it is, how it lines up once we get inside the rig or inside the truck. So let's do that. Let's get in the truck and let's see how this all sets up. All right, so we have power going, and let's see. So you're going through this with me the first time. I think it's in the instructions, but let's just see what we got here. I think we're gonna have, let's see. Maybe we have to pair it first. Let's get out of this. Auto scan, yeah. Oops. All right, so we've got channel 4 is on, channel 1 is off. Let's see. Okay, so we got it hooked up. And I will have to say that I had an issue. It was probably me. I did get the manual, and I did read through the manual, but it didn't talk about how to set the cameras up. So what I had to do was I had to go into the menu, and I had to go and I had to pair them. So I paired the left one first, I believe it was. It doesn't matter. I paired one of the side ones, but it had paired to camera 4. So I fiddled around with the settings for some time trying to figure it out. And anyway, what I ended up having to do was I had to go back into the menu, and I went to settings, and I selected camera 1, and camera 2, and camera 4, okay? And then I went back to the menu, and I went to select the camera. Let's see, how did I do that? Select. So right here, as you see, it says camera 1 or cam 1, and it was blank. There was nothing there. So I went then back into the menu, went to pairing, ran out to the side and hit the pair button, and it came up on camera 1. So then, let me get out of scan mode here. Okay, so then I went to camera 2. Again, it was blank. So I did the same thing. I went back into the menu, went to pairing, went out to the other side and hit the pairing button on that. Then I had to pair the main camera back up, which was camera 4. So I had to go through and climb up on the rig and hit the pairing button, which of course is a recess button. Once I did that, it was fine. It was just a little confusing. Again, it was probably me. You can also set up the auto scan, which is what you saw earlier. So I have auto scan to scan cameras 1, 2, and 4 just by pressing the select button. And I've got it set to scan every 15 seconds. So right now it's on camera 1, and in 15 seconds it will auto switch to camera 2. And then in 15 seconds, it goes to the rear camera. I probably won't drive that way with it, and I will probably disable the scan as we're driving, but just wanted to show you that. So every 15 seconds, and you can adjust the time on that from, I think, 5 seconds to maybe 30 seconds. Let's turn off the scan. Let's go back in the menu. One thing I have not been able to figure out yet, I've seen other videos and other people didn't have to do that. So I don't know if maybe the model I have, and I'll make a note of what that model is, and the side markers, if there's some maybe incompatibility as far as like turning them on, just, you know, enabling them. I want to thank Haloview for sending these side markers. They are going to be invaluable on this coming travel season. So again, thank you Haloview for this. Now, they will save you 5% on your purchase if you use our promo code down in the comments below. I'll leave the promo code down there to save you 5%. And that way you can get your side markers. I think that it also applies to if you want to buy the whole system. I'm sure it would. Anyway, I want to thank you for sticking around to the end. I'm going to put the caulking around this now and we'll wrap it up. Until next time, we'll talk to you soon.